What's up? How y'all doing? YouTube fam, Facebook fam, Instagram fam. How y'all doing, man? Listen, I'm just getting on right quick. I had some people ask me some questions, man, about it's funny. I had some people ask me some questions, man, about, you know, should they be getting ready? Because they see my content, gun content, 2A content, whatever you want to call it. And they be like, man, yo, son, it's like you getting ready for something over there. Like, should I be getting ready for something? Like, what's going on? Like, there's something they don't know yet. And, you know, me, I'm like, I don't know. There's some people be like, man, look, I need to be shopping for, you know, end of the world, or, you know, when everything loses control, or when the crap hits the fan. I don't shop for, because people see you stockpiling ammo and all this stuff, and they think you shopping for the end of the world. I'm not getting ready for the end of the world. I'm not in that sense. Like, you know, a world without, you know, law and all this kind of stuff. I'm not getting ready for the zombie apocalypse or something y'all thinking. That's not what, look, I ain't shopping for the end of the world. I'm shopping for the end of the sale. You hear me? Like, there's things that go on sale, and if you see them cheap, you better stack them deep, because you might not see them again. Now, is there things I think you need the ammo and stuff like that? I think you need the stockpile? Yes. Yes. To be prepared for, you know, a crisis situation, or with these tariffs out here, man, a situation where, you know, you got an ongoing supply right now. It could be cut off any day, or, you know, the product you buying could quadruple in price. Oh, yeah. So that's why I shop. Now, I had somebody asking me, yo, so, you know, what should I buy? What should I stock up? You know, now I got some ideas. You know, first of all, man, listen, this is all for informational purposes here. YouTube, this is for informational purposes. This is not intended for any craziness or anything like that. This is all for educational and informational use. So with that being said, listen, yeah, there's things I think that you could stockpile now that may be able to help you in the future. You know, if you want to know, like what I do. Like, first of all, I go to the range on a regular basis. You know, if you don't train like I do, man, you ain't gonna need what I need. You know, so, you know, it's gonna be different use cases, man, for everybody. But like, just to have something on hand for emergencies, yeah, I could tell you what you may or may not want to have on hand. What should we start with? Pistol, rifle, or shotgun? I'll tell you what, let's start with pistol ammunition first. What ammo should you stockpile? I would stockpile, and when I say stockpile, I mean like have about a good, you know, 800 to 1,000 rounds. That sounds like a lot. It really ain't, y'all. It ain't a lot. 800 to 1,000 rounds of pistol ammunition, where you can, we're talking about storing, you know, what you would have for storage. That means enough of a particular type of ammunition for you to use for your personal defense, or it can also have a dual use for where you could do some plinking if you had to. If you had to go out, you know, every 6 months or so and do some target practice, you could do that without depleting your store of ammunition, should there be some kind of, what do you call it, end of the world situation or something happen. Whatever, you know, there's a lot of craziness going on in our country and in the government and all this kind of stuff, and people see this stuff and they get all upset. And I'm just saying, first of all, first step, calm down. Second step, you know, think about it, think rationally, you know. You don't want to go out spending a gang of money on like personal defense ammo. You want to get some stuff you can store. So you might want to look at if people have stuff that has like sealed primers on it, stuff that you can get dual use out. It's not mad expensive. Maybe it's steel cased, but I mean, you ain't using it in an indoor range or nothing, so it won't matter if it's steel core or steel cased, because you're going to be using it, you know, for personal defense, hunting, or whatever. So go out and get something, number one, your gun's caliber, something you can train with, and something you can defend yourself with as far as your handgun goes. All right? And I'll tell you about all this ammunition at the end, how not to store it. Number two, let's move to rifle ammo. Rifle ammo, again, kind of like the same thing. Make sure you get something that has like sealed primers on it, and you'll be able to tell. Some of them have lacquer around the projectile, the base of the projectile, to seal the bullet from moisture and for storage. A lot of your steel case ammo, there's not a lot of American companies making steel case. There is a company called American Steel. Steel case ammo is going to cost you less than your brass case. Brass case ammo is more expensive, but some indoor ranges, that's all they'll let you use. But you can buy steel case ammo, sealed primers, lacquered base projectiles. Some of this stuff's going to be corrosive. If it's highly corrosive, that means you're going to have to clean your firearm after you use it. But a lot of that stuff can be stored for, you know, decades. You know, your grandkids will be using it. You can get that stuff stored away. How many rounds? I would say 1,000 rounds. You know, at least backup. You know, 1,000 rounds of that. Now, if you have an indoor range and there's somewhere that you like to train, you know, occasionally you can buy whatever you need to train, but find a site. There's a lot of sites out there. You know, Wiki Arms, Ammo Seek, you know, just find one of these ammo search engines and you can find that ammunition cheap. Now, what I don't advise, don't go to some swap meet, some auction, some gun show, you know, buying secondhand ammo. Don't do that now. Don't go out here buying this secondhand stuff, man, unless you have the opportunity to try that stuff right there, which I doubt. You're going to have your firearm and everything with you and be able to try all that stuff right there. If you ain't able to try while you buy, then you need to go with a reputable company. Make sure the ammo maker you buy from is reputable. That means check to make sure they ain't got a bunch of stuff going on with the Better Business Bureau, to make sure they have good customer reviews. Check out their reviews as far as what people say about their shipping ratings and things like that. Check all that out. Make sure the company you're dealing with is reputable. Now, as far as the ammunition, make sure the ammunition you get is reliable. And the way you're going to make sure it's reliable is, first of all, get it from somebody that's reputable. And then do your homework on the ammo. Get something that's reliable, which means when the hammer strikes the primer, it goes bang. Okay? And if you don't have a rifle, I don't know why you don't, but if you, most everybody in America does. If you don't have a rifle, that's another video for suggestions on those. You know, but if you have a rifle, whatever your rifle's chambered in, get your ammo from a reputable distributor, a reputable ammunitions seller, retailer, and that way you'll know you'll have something that's reliable. Now, don't ask me about stuff that is it accurate and all the accuracy, and a lot of that's going to depend on you. You know, if you don't train, I don't care what ammunition you get. You ain't gonna hit the broadside of a barn if you ain't, you know, you can have match grade ammo. But if you ain't out here training, it don't matter. You're gonna miss anyway. You know, you might get close enough to scare somebody, but you know, don't matter. You know, accuracy, a lot of that's gonna be determined by you. There's a lot of factors that go into accuracy. The firearm, the person behind the firearm, you know, all that kind of stuff. So, but get something reliable. Get something that fits your gun, your rifle, steel cased storage ammo, and like I said, stuff that you can hunt with and use for personal defense. You gotta have a dual use. Shotgun. Now shotguns are a little different because shotguns are a multi-use firearm. You can hunt anything from doves to rhinoceros with that thing. So what I suggest, since this, you know, people asking me, so my suggestion, you want to get, I would say get number 7.5 birdshot. You need a good, you know, you don't need a ton of it. You don't need a ton of that. But a good 50 rounds, a 7.5 birdshot, and then get you some turkey loads too. Something that will take down some large bone, thick-skinned birds. Turkey loads are usually like your number 5, your number 6 shot. You're gonna need some of that. And number 6 up close is a good defense round. I wouldn't use it for personal defense myself, but it's good for turkeys. It's good for varmints, opossums, raccoons, all that kind of stuff. But and then make sure you get what your gun is chambered for. Pay attention to that. Make sure the rounds you buy are in the chambering that your shotgun's chambered for. My Mossberg is chambered for 3-inch magnums and 2 3/4-inch shells. If you go out and buy a 3.5-inch turkey load and try to put that in a 3-inch chambering, you're gonna have a problem. You know, it might fire, but you might not be able to get that thing out very easily. Or who knows, could explode the doggone firearm. Anyway, make sure that what you buy fits the shotgun. So I would say, get you some 7.5 shots, some bird shot. Get you some turkey shot. You don't need a ton. You know, 25, 50 rounds or so. Get you some buckshot. You need buckshot. Buckshot, you can hunt a lot of stuff with buckshot, and you can use it for personal defense. Now, I would say get you some buckshot that you can buy that is good enough to hunt with, but it's also good enough for personal defense. And there's a lot of stuff that's rated like that you can hunt with. Double-aught buck, you can hunt with. Now, I wouldn't get any more than 25, 50 rounds of Magnum shells, because basically all you're going to use that for is hunting deer. Now, slugs, you don't need a ton of slugs. It's very limited situations that you're going to use a slug for. Maybe for deer, big, large game, stuff like that. You're not going to use it for personal defense. You know, not like inside of 40 yards, you know. So you can get some slugs throw some slugs in there. You want to get you 100 rounds of slugs to store, you can do that. I got like 200, 300 I had bought that I trained with, but I got them cheap. I got the cheap Canadian stuff when it was available. So you can get some slugs, magnums. If you're going to hunt, maybe 25 rounds of that. If you're going to do some hunting, 50 rounds of that just to have stored away. And then the rest 2 3/4 inch slugs. You don't need a ton. But buckshot, I would say, as far as storing that, get you a good mixture of bird shot, turkey shot. Buckshot is what you're going to need the most of. Get a few 100 rounds of that and store it away. Get you 400 or 500 rounds of it, store it away. Slugs, 100 rounds. Maybe just some of the cheap stuff to sight your firearm in with, and then get you maybe 50, 100 rounds of some hunting, some stuff you can hunt with, take down large game with, if there's a scenario where you have to take down large game. Now that's what, if you asking me what I would store up just for storage. Now how to store the stuff. Don't buy that stuff in boxes and keep it in boxes. You need to store it properly or you wasting money. If you buy your firearm in boxes and you store it in boxes, guess what cardboard boxes do? They hold moisture. And if you put those boxes in an ammo can and you come back, 6 months, 8 months, a year later, and you haven't checked on it, and you open it up and you see mold and mildew and all that, that's because those boxes hold moisture. You need to take it out of those boxes, put it in some ammo cans with some of those desiccant packs. You can buy those desiccant packs on Amazon, for little to nothing. Spend a few dollars, get some of them desiccant packets. They them packets that absorb moisture out the air. You can always recharge those by popping them in the microwave. Get some of those desiccant packs, throw a couple packs in your storage container with your loose ammo, and store the ammo away off of the floor and store it away in a dry area. You don't want to keep it somewhere where it's possible the floor could get flooded and stuff could get wet. And you don't want to keep it somewhere where it gets extremely hot or it's always extremely cold. You want to keep it somewhere where the climate is kind of controlled as much as possible. And that's what you do to get prepared for, I don't know, what y'all getting ready for. End of the world? I don't know. But my preparation is typically just for ammo shortages. In 2020, I had 1,000 rounds of 7.62 by 39 tucked away. Now, when I bought it, my wife was fussing at me because I spent all that money on all that ammo. I spent a lot of money, but she was like, "What you gonna do with all that?" It was like 1,000 rounds. But when that ammo shortage came in during COVID, I went to the range. My nephew was with me, Hezekiah. We went everywhere that morning trying to buy 10 mil. Couldn't find it nowhere. Had to wind up buying it from the range. I could only buy 2 boxes. But I had 7.62 by 39 when nobody had it. I went to the range with that 7.62 by 39. I sold it for 5 times what I bought it for. I was making me some money off that stuff. So while everybody else was tripping and wasn't stockpiling, I stockpiled, and then when the shortages came around, I took advantage of it. So I'm telling you, you got to save up for a rainy day. If you find it cheap, stack it deep now. Because with tariffs and all this stuff that's going on, man, there ain't no telling how long you're going to have that stuff or how long it's going to be available, you know, for you to purchase. You know, because there's a lot going on. So when I see it cheap, I go ahead and get it. And I get as much as I can of it and I store it. And I was smart to do that with those Canadian slugs because now they ain't twice as much as what I was buying them for at first. Ammunition prices right now are great. This is a good time right now to go ahead and get it. So go ahead and get it now. You'll be good to go. All right, look, this has been a 20-minute video. I'm at the store. I just did this for folks who be inquiring and asking and all that. Listen, man, trust in the Lord, man. Don't trust in you know, your ammo storage. You know, trust in the Lord. You know, buy it because it's a good investment to have, especially when you can buy it cheap. You know, I'm telling you, you can resell it, and some of that stuff lasts for decades, especially if you store it right. All right, man. Look, the Lord love you, I love you, and man, ain't nothing you can do about that. Have a blessed day.